Were you, or were you not, on a gay cruise?
Now, you're 120% dick pic.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
Because we don't care about anything else. We're a walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's... I have to say you're right on that one. Oh, my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room, and you return the favor.
Got her in. Oh. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop! Stop it now! I order you to stop! I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. That's not... look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you gotta fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay. I
got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar, and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, savages? Terrence Pop here with another episode that actually is live from the lair. All right. Now, today we're going to be covering a topic that, let's just face it, we keep doing this over and over again, especially in the 20th. Now we're in the 21st century. And it has to do with assisted suicide, euthanasia, whatever you want to call it. But this has actually been a, how shall we say this, a term that, or a method that has been used by the Germans, by the Russians, by the Bolsheviks, to get rid of individuals who they used to refer to as useless eaters. Where have we heard that term recently? That has been thrown around in the media quite a bit. If you recall, a few years back, we had the Georgia Guidestones destroyed, and basically their blueprint of what they wanted for the future was out there for the whole world to see on Front Street. And they basically want to reduce the human population to 500 million. We have roughly somewhere between 6 and 8 billion on the planet now. So who are going to be the unlucky individuals who will be voted off the island? And as it stands now, more than likely it's going to be the people in the West, because we have been feminized and weakened to the point where people are willing to step into a go to sleep forever tube or drink some Socrates tea or what have you to basically erase themselves from the planet Earth. Now, I am not a suicide absolutist, okay? Now, let me explain myself. If you are old and you have a very bad diagnosis and it's not going to end well for you, and it's going to be a long, painful, slow motion train wreck of a death, I don't think either anyone here should judge you for that, number one. And number two, and this is just my opinion, I really don't think it's going to be held against you when you go to the other place. If you did everything in your purview to make sure that you tried to stay as long as you possibly could. I got it. All right. Back in the day when I was looking for a car, I almost bought a Buick Riviera that belonged to Jack Kevorkian. And it was one of his in-laws. I sat and talked to him for a couple hours. And he was pretty much along the same lines. You know, if you're sick, tore up from the floor up, and you're done. Now, I'm not talking about emotional blows or, depression or anything like that. All that can be, you can defeat that. It is what it is. We're talking to guys with ALS, severe MS, brain cancers, blood cancers that spread to like all of their organs, and all that's left is a miserable death. And they wrote it out as long as the painkillers would last. I got it. But what we're trying to bring to everyone's attention is simply this. They are planning it all over again. All of this crazy mumbo jumbo lingo is all connected to socialism, which is the doormat to communism. And we have so many people today will literally look you in the face and go, well, it just wasn't done right yet. Completely disregarding the fact that we are all evil, hairless monkeys, and we do a bunch of evil, hairless monkey shit to each other. Meaning, we dominate, murder, sexual assault, what have you, to each other. We spend billions of dollars, trillions of dollars to come up with new innovative ways to send more people into the next world as easily and lazily as possible. And there you have it. It is going to be a royal goat screw. And hopefully you guys watching the show will keep your eyes open, because let's just be honest. Yes, Trump won this election, but the enemies of the civilization and the world are still out there. Dare I say, the forces of darkness. None of this is being covered by the mainstream media, and it's small channels like mine that are actually covering this travesty, and it needs to be talked about. So let's bring in Battledorf and get on with it.
Yeah, it always could be me.
Yeah.
Why is it always got to be me?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we stumbled across this last week, and we've been kicking links back and forth on the whole thing all of this time. And let's face it, like Canada, for example, they had what's like 15,000 assisted suicides
Yes.
last year. Let's take a look at what this is first here. Let's see here. Assisted suicide, also known as physician-assisted suicide, is the process by which a person, with the help of others, takes actions to end their lives. Now, like Pop said when we started this a minute ago, if you are tore up from the floor up, okay, there's no recovering your condition. I get this. I understand. There's points where you just can't go any further. That wall exists. There's no debating whether or not that wall exists. It does. Probably most famously portrayed in a movie about World War I called Johnny Get Your Gun. Do you remember that, Pop?
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy who's a World War I vet, and he's in a hospital, and everybody's gathered around him and his family, and they're all talking to him. And this one guy notices that the guy who's laying in the bed, who's lost his arms and legs, he's blind, he had his like jaw blown off, and he's completely wrapped in bandages. And one of the people in the room notices that the guy's like tapping his head. Tapping his head. And they're like, oh, he must be trying to communicate. He must be trying to communicate. And finally, one of his buddies comes in and says he is. And everybody looks at the guy's buddy, the other soldier, and says, well, what's he saying? He says, it's Morse code.
Yep.
And he's saying, please kill me. You know, when you're to that point, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You're completely roached. There's nowhere else to go, and all you're going to do is suffer until, you know, the lights go out and you go to your final exit interview. But this is not that. Okay, let's be crystal clear about what's going on in these countries. And you can see a little map down in the corner there of where the countries are. And some of the states, Oregon and California, now have it. Assisted suicide is legal in some countries under certain circumstances, including Austria, Belgium, Canada, Germany, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Switzerland, some parts of the United States, and all 6 states in Australia. The constitutional courts of Colombia, Ecuador, and Italy have legalized it, but their governments have not yet legislated or regulated the practice. Now, this has been going on since there have been people on the face of the planet. Let's be crystal clear about that. This is something that we've done all along. But what we're looking at here, it simply isn't the same thing at all. Let's take a look at the Netherlands, for example. In the Netherlands, euthanasia, termination of life on request, and assisted suicide are prohibited under Articles 23 and 293 and 294. In the Dutch Euthanasia Act, an exception has been made for physicians. Euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide performed by a physician who has complied with all 6 due care criteria set out in the Act and has notified the municipal pathologist. That's like the what do we call those guys? The coroners here in the States, I guess.
Okay.
It's not a criminal. So what this is the slow slide into we can euthanize people.
Yes. It's a slippery slope.
It is.
As human beings, we have this annoying habit called mission creep.
Yes.
It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just gets worse and worse. And I'm going to rearrange my screens here very quickly. I'm going to put that one over there, this one over here, shove this one up Pop's ass, no homo.
Hey.
What? Huh?
Huh?
Difference between euthanasia and assisted suicide. It's very simple. The doctor in euthanasia administers whatever it is that punches your clock. An assisted suicide is where the doctor hands you whatever it is that punches your clock.
And you do it yourself.
You essentially do it yourself, but you're given the means to do it. Now, Canada has been screwing around with fun things like in the thumbnail for tonight's show. the bye-bye bed. That's a bye-bye bed. That's a suicide bed.
And I believe they use nitrogen.
Did you hear what happened
Yeah.
with an incident in Canada using the bye-bye bed?
They had to go in and choke them.
They literally had to go in and strangle the guy because the bed failed.
Yeah, that's you know, you
That's-
should
that's
have
just one of the fun
standby
features.
injection or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, here's another example.
Sure.
I watch on Netflix a show called Resident Alien, and in this towards the end of the second season, the so-called alien, who's basically playing a doctor, has to go and administer a lethal dose of some narcotic to a guy who's basically dying, and he's really
Oh, I think I
old.
watched a couple of shows
Yeah.
of that. He's like literally an alien, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he literally puts him down, and the guy like looks at the doctor before he checks out and says, "Thank you." In my opinion, that is where you need to be for this to apply to you. Simple.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you and I go back and forth about this all the time on numerous shows. Look, don't take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. The problem with what we're talking about now, and make sure I hit the button there in the correct fashion so that I don't screw this up. We're still in a bit of a learning curve. Tomorrow we have a big staff meeting at the lair to go over all of this stuff. And things will get smoother and smoother as we go along as Blake retires to his wizard's tower.
Yep.
Which is inevitable at this point.
It's coming up in May, because May is when his wedding business kicks off, and he's just so busy.
The guy makes good money. He's hella good at what he does, and he's been doing it for years now.
Yes, but the thing is you know, he wants to focus whatever time he has with his son, who's now at that age where he needs to be around his father to learn how to live in the real world,
where dad purpose kicks in.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. So when you Google Canadian death panels, Google and its AI will tell you there's no Canadian death panels. That's just nonsense. However, this article's from 2013.
Here we go.
Canada has death panels, and that's a good thing. What's a death panel? Let's discuss the idea of a death panel for a minute.
All right, hang on. So this is the way they're doing it.
Mhm.
All right. They haven't got to the point where they're admitting this is who we're going to pick to die. They're admitting who they're not going to treat. They're like, okay, like for instance, I've talked to probably half a dozen people who watch this show from Canada, who have asked me for the anti-cancer, diet, treatment, whatever we have, and because once you get to a certain stage of cancer in Canada, they won't treat you. So they just say, "Oh yeah, you're stage 4, bye-bye."
Yeah.
You're gonna die.
Yep.
That is an indirect death panel. But once it gets socially accepted, they're going to flip their script and go, "Oh yeah, everyone over 72 years of age, report to your extermination facility because you're done." Yeah, no, I don't fucking think so.
So Pop and I are old enough to remember an old movie called Logan's Run, which was a cheesy, campy movie, but it had titties, and because we were like 8 or 10 years old when it came out.
But it also had dating apps.
Well, Yahoo. Yes, it did. It had dating apps in your house.
Yeah,
where you literally swiped left or right,
yep,
and she could walk through the screen
into your house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's just Uber. You're just like,
Right.
come over. And
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just more of a
Anyway, Logan's Run did it first, but also everybody had a gemstone in their palm, and when that gemstone started flashing and then stopped emanating light at all, stopped shining, you had to report to what was called carousel, where you were blown up in a ritual.
Well, they sold it as a renewal.
Yes, it's a renewal, and nobody was allowed to live past 30,
Yes.
and there was no such thing as marriage. You just get somebody pregnant, and then they did scientific things, and the baby was raised in an incubator, and it was supposed to be this perfect utopian society. Well, these insane Bolsheviks, meaningful pause, they really want this for the real world. They want to keep the population down to 500 million. They want to keep people permanently medicated in some fashion. And how many of you out there know more than 3 people who are not on some sort of medication?
Well, yeah.
Think about
I
it.
knew people in the service because you really couldn't be on any crazy meds back in the day. You can
No,
now.
civilian world. This is purely civilian world. Yeah, in the military you couldn't.
Yeah. No, I really don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
my buddy Pete, I think he's on like a cholesterol pill, but
I can only think of a tiny handful of people
yeah,
that
same.
are not on something. One of the things with the Logan's Run thing, and this is something my brain just made the connection on. You're only allowed to live to 30 years old. Okay. Now, everybody here knows I'm that freaking history geek. I'm the kid who sits around and actually reads Virgil.
Yeah.
There has for a long time been in academia this trope about how nobody in the Middle Ages really lived past 35 years old. That was like the average lifespan was around 35. Now, line that up with Logan's Run and only living to about 30 years old, and this whole thing that we know they're trying to do with the Georgia Guidestones. When were those put there even?
They
70s,
actually, the
80s?
money was paid somewhere between 75 and 78.
There you go. That lines up with the whole Logan's Run thing. And that's when academia started saying that people only live to about 35 years old in medieval times anyway. Now, if you go back and bother to read the Greeks, one of the chief generals in Caesar's time died at the age of like 92 when he fell off of his favorite horse while out on a ride.
Well, it happens. But I think what they're talking about there is so many people died in childhood that it skewed the numbers way to the left. But once you made it past the age of like 15 or 16, your chances of making it into your 50s or 60s were pretty good.
I don't think it's true. I think it's bad academics. I think it is a deliberate exaggeration. There's a whole bunch, like the Dark Ages, for example. I know we're going down a rabbit hole here, but there's a point to it. The Dark Ages, for example, that's the time period of the Byzantine Empire. There was nothing dark there. That was all well documented and was a period of huge development for crafts and architecture and music and all of that stuff.
Yep.
So we all know that our academic system is skewed, and it's all pushing us toward this idea that there should be less of us anyway. And now you've got the idea of death panels here in Canada. And mind you, this is October 21st, 2013. Okay, last week, Canada's Supreme Court ruled that doctors could not unilaterally ignore a Toronto family's decision to keep their near-dead husband and father on life support. In the same breath, however, the court also confirmed that under the laws of Ontario, Canada's most populous province, I think everybody in Canada lives there, a group of government-appointed educators could yet overrule the family's choice. That tribunal, not the family's doctors, has the ultimate power to pull the plug. In other words, Canada has death panels.
Correct.
Now, when you give disaffected, disconnected bureaucrats authority over something like this,
oh my God, you're asking for
it becomes a bureaucracy of death. It literally becomes a bureaucracy of death.
Right,
They
stand
pick
by.
and choose. Yep.
When has the bureaucracy not in the end become a bureaucracy of death? I'm just asking for a friend.
That's fine. You make a very valid point. I'm talking about this is specifically a bureaucracy of death. That's what this bureaucracy does, is who decides who lives and dies.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we used to go to war, and
Yeah.
bureaucracies used to pick who would get drafted and who wouldn't. And back in the day, getting drafted was pretty much a death sentence.
Yes. Yes, it was. And that is definitely a form of a death panel of sorts. Now, you had a chance. It was like playing freaking rollerball or Running Man,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a very good chance. And you were going to come back messed up.
Yeah. Listen, you never step into the eye of oblivion and come back clean.
No.
I'm just going to tell you that right now.
No. Which brings me to something that I wanted to bring up.
Here we go.
This is a new segment I like to call Who Pissed Off the Dwarf This Time? Okay? So I want to talk to you guys about this because this is really beginning to fucking chafe my ass. I've been in a 21-year running battle with the United States government over things that were done to me. And I have to change the banner here so that people understand that the dwarf is not going on a random killing spree. Please read the banner below. I'm going off, and there's a purpose behind it. Listen to me. Your government hates your guts, and they want you fucking dead. Period. Okay? Not just me. This isn't just me. Hundreds of guys have gone through this process. We believe we're serving our country. We go overseas. We kill people we don't know, or we arrange that. My job was to find the people to kill so that I could send guys just like Pop to go do exactly that. And we'll go do this for 5, 10, 20, 30 years in the name of our country, believing firmly that our country has our back when we come back. Guess what? They don't have your back.
Nope.
I've been fighting this battle for 21 years with the federal government. They lie, they hide stuff, they commit, in my particular case, 79 separate felony crimes I've identified, committed against me just so that they could get me out of their way and off of their map. Not one. The only way the federal government will respond, and here's the reason for the banner, is if somebody like me or somebody like Pop or another one of us guys goes, you know what? I've had enough. And guess what, Mr. Federal guy? I'm coming for you, and I'm coming for every member of your family, and I'm not going to stop. Now the federal government will pay attention. Now the federal government will show interest, and they'll show up, and they'll kick in your door, and they'll probably shoot you. They'll definitely shoot your dogs. They'll wreck your house. They'll take everything you have, and they'll stick you in a fucking gulag under a prison somewhere for the rest of your natural life because you got mad because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. After you buried a bunch of buddies and spent anywhere between 3 and 30 years of your life killing people in foreign countries for them. And we've had enough. We've had enough. It's ridiculous. This has got to freaking stop because guess where this goes from here? Give me one more minute, Pop. Guess where this goes from here? We start coming back from overseas. They start to realize that we come back edgy. They start to realize we come back angry, right? Oh, well, you know what we're going to do? You need to go to the VA. They're going to help you. You're going to get treatments. Hey, we've got this nice hyperbaric chamber here. You know, the extra oxygen will sort you out a little bit. You get in that chamber?
Bye-bye.
You want to bet?
Uh-huh.
I will bet you that something like that, if it hasn't started happening, is definitely being planned.
The bye-bye bed?
The bye-bye bed.
Yeah.
These soldiers, they're coming back too messed up. Okay, that's fine. Just, let them go do what they do. And when they come back, send them for treatment. Oh, oxygen therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, listen.
I'm so fucking angry.
I get it.
Thanks for letting me go off. I
no
appreciate
problem.
that.
But, I mean, this is the thing here. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to, some of my former leftoid friends back in the day.
Yeah.
And I would bring this up and they look me in the face and go, oh, well, that can't happen here. It's happening just north of our border where the snow
It's absolutely happening.
Yeah. Where the snow
I call them the Europeans.
Yeah, the Europeans. They're doing it right there. We have certain states that are probably going to allow that to take place as well. There's
Oregon
no
and California are already doing it.
Yeah. There is no reason for a 32-year-old individual suffering from depression to go through this craziness. All right, we had the that one woman who dressed up like a man for a year, went overseas and committed harry-carry as well.
Yeah,
Now, why that happened, I have no idea.
I do.
Well, hang on. Every article I've read in regards to the whole situation,
Mhm.
that she did not have a life-threatening illness.
Mhm.
There's nothing like that. She just said, "I'm done. Forget it." Boom.
She was forced to face reality is what it was. That's the woman who dressed and behaved like a man for a year and discovered that men have it fucking hard.
Yeah.
And she was forced to stare that in the face, and it did her so much psychological damage that she went over to like Switzerland and had herself gassed.
I get it. I mean, that, in my opinion, should not be allowed to happen.
I'll go with the whole free will thing. It's a load of crap that happened. It is a load of crap, and it shouldn't be allowed to happen in our country. We can't pretend to say that we can tell people what to do in their countries. That's for them to decide. I am a firm believer of that. I don't want it happening here.
But the thing is, it's north of the American border, meaning at some point it's going to trickle down into our country, and it's going to become a problem.
Yes, and that's the problem we have to address, in my opinion. That's the problem we have to address, in my opinion. But it's already here. It's in Oregon and California, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It's already here, and it's just a matter of time. I'll bet you it's happening in places like New York.
I mean, this whole thing is just mad. One, it's maddening, and two, it's saddening. I just have a hard time wrapping my head around this insanity.
No, yeah, I get it. This one here this bears some discussion. I could live 30 years but plan to die. How assisted dying law is dividing Canadians. Let's see here. April Hubbard sits on the theater stage where she plans to die later this year. She's not terminally ill, but the 39-year-old performance and burlesque artist has been approved for assisted dying under Canada's increasingly liberal laws. I think she's got MS. She used to be a stripper, basically, a burlesque dancer, which is a classy stripper. It is.
All right.
She plans to be in a big comfy bed for what she calls a celebratory moment when a medical professional will inject her with a lethal dose into her bloodstream. So she's literally doing the Logan's Run thing here.
Yeah.
She's doing a performance death, and it's being allowed. This is, in my opinion, over the top.
Well, it all depends how bad the MS is.
I agree. Let's see. She was born with spina bifida and was later diagnosed with tumors at the base of her spine, which she says have left her in constant debilitating pain.
Okay.
Her actual life is not in jeopardy. It just sucks hard. Okay.
Well, listen, man. If it's debilitating pain and there's nothing they can do to control it, I get it. I mean, I myself wouldn't do that. I live in pain every single day. I think in the past 21 years since I got blown up in Iraq, I've had 60 days that were pain-free.
Yep.
And maybe less than that, good night's sleep. Because
Yep.
I live in pain and I don't sleep.
Yeah.
But
and then there's the sleep thing.
Yeah.
Because you never know. I have to have something to drink before I go to sleep. That's my off switch.
Yeah.
Because that gray area between awake and asleep right there, if the things start thinking in that space,
you can't go over the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now listen, I had a supply sergeant when I was in Special Forces who he'd injured his back in a jump.
Yep.
And he suffered for 30 plus years with it. He retired, and then he did an additional 3 or 4 surgeries. Somewhere between 12 and 15 years after he retired, he just said, you know what, I can't live in pain anymore. I can't move. This is no quality of life, and I'm done. And he worked it out with his family, and he did what he had to do. And I totally am behind that. Now, if this woman is living in that kind of pain and there's no hope for her,
let's give her a chance to.
I can't get behind it 100%, but I understand it.
Let's give her a chance to say what she has to say here. Let's listen to this for just a second.
Okay.
More than 15,000 people a year have a medically assisted death in Canada.
15,000.
The vast majority are terminally ill, and many of them choose to die at home.
That's a huge number.
Mhm.
This theater feels like the most special, unique place on earth for me, and it just feels fitting that I should take my final breath here.
But this is where performance artist April Hubbard wants to die, on stage at her local theatre in Halifax, Nova Scotia. She is not terminally ill. Why do you want to end your life?
I want to end my life because the balance of being able to live and enjoy life is no longer outweighing the pain that I'm in. And there's many days where I can't lift my head off the pillow and I can't eat anymore. And it's not a way I want to live for another 10 or 20 or 30 years.
A serious spinal condition means April has been on strong opioid painkillers for more than 20 years, including these fentanyl patches.
Jesus.
So these 4
Yeah.
medications are my core meds that I have to have all the
Okay, I think we get the point here.
Yeah.
In this particular case, okay, I get that her quality of life is just absolutely freaking tanked.
But they're greasing this. They're greasing this the slide here, the slope.
That was
It's
my
getting
next.
greased.
Yep, we're on the same page.
They're using your compassion. Listen, mercy is cheap. You can give it like that, but compassion is expensive in resources and
Yeah.
time. And they are greasing the skid here with compassion.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see that standard just start to come down and down and down until, like, oh, you're depressed, you don't want to be around anymore. Boom, you're gone.
It has already, if you think about it. There was, when we were young, one way that you could terminate your own life. And that's where your family could say, my
Pull the
loved
plug.
one, my husband, my father, he's gone. And it's just this machine here that goes ping that's keeping his heart pumping. And that's all it is. So unplug him.
Yep. And listen,
Okay. That's where this started.
listen, my mother is in one of those homes, and we filled out a DNR on her.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was sign my name to
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Crush.
To your comfort there, buddy. She's had her run.
Uh-huh.
It's not like she's 40.
No, she's 79 now.
Yeah, I get it 110%, but at least you can say good run.
Yeah, yeah. You're right.
'Cause,
And listen, I don't want to see people needlessly just suffer in agonizing pain forever. I don't want to see that.
absolutely.
What I'm
Absolutely.
trying to block against is that slippery slope, because we're evil, hairless monkeys, and we always do this.
Yes. And it's
We
like I said,
always do it.
it's like I said in my rant. It's just a matter of time before they start taking guys who came back. Hey, we're gonna send you to the VA for some oxygen therapy. We read your records and we see your anger issues. So let's just go get you some oxygen therapy. It'll be great.
Yeah. No, it's
They'll
not.
do that too. They will do that if this is allowed to continue the way that it is. In Canada, they're using compassion, like you said. They're using heartstrings, like you said, to get people to submit, basically, to terminating this. 15,000 people, dude.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I am no stranger to evil. Okay. I'm not a nice guy. I'm not a good person. But I've been in the company of evil for so long. I know it when it speaks.
Yeah.
And that's what's taking place here. This is the forces of darkness ramping up and greasing the skids to flush as many people as they can, cause as much pain and turmoil as they can. And it doesn't need to happen. And it's fueled by ignorance.
Yeah. And here you go. Look at this ad here. This is an ad that somebody's walking by. My dying wish is to know that I have a choice. My dad didn't. And they're portraying it a compassionate act. Oh, if only my dad could have taken his own life. I'm glad to know that I can take my own life. Now it becomes part of the cultural psyche, of the societal psyche. Hey, if I can't take it anymore, I can just have myself whacked. I can just go whack myself.
And listen, I hate to bring this up, but we got the Prior to World War II, when the Nazi Germans came into power, they went absolutely crazy, basically euthanizing retarded individuals, mentally weak individuals,
The infirm, the
the
word you're
infirm.
looking for is the infirm. Now,
And they
to
sold it the exact same way.
prior to the Nazis, the Bolsheviks did the exact same in Red Russia between 1917 and 1930. They basically just smoked anybody who was crazy or retarded or anything like that. So I know everybody likes to point at the Nazis.
We
The
need
reason,
to have a historic drinking game rules here. He said bullshit.
yeah. Oh, you're right. The reason that I tend to swat Nazi aside is because so many people only focus on them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get ugly, let's take it to the killing fields.
Oh my God.
In Cambodia.
Movie.
Okay. Millions were killed and they just left the bones all over the fields. There are piles and piles and piles of bones in Cambodia.
Listen,
that's why I swat the
bad.
Nazi thing aside, because there's so much of this stuff around the world. You can't focus on 12 years of human history.
I know, but here's the thing. It got so bad in Cambodia.
Yes.
Vietnam had to actually invade to shut that shit down.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, this is insane.
Yeah. Yes. The Vietnamese had to go, no. That's enough. No more.
Yeah, you've gone over the edge when the communist Vietnamese are like, all right, we're willing to cross your border. People are going to get spanked because you're all on goddamn mind.
When the communist Vietnamese are freaked out, you're really going over the edge, man.
You are so off the reservation.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to tell you.
Yeah, that was really ugly. In their case in Cambodia, this wasn't even euthanization. This is just wiping whole segments of the population out. Yeah. And when people say, oh, socialism isn't going to lead to communism, we just haven't done it here.
Done it right.
Or done it right or whatever.
They always
it always ends in communism, and it always ends in killing fields of some kind. Always.
Or starvation.
Or starvation. Well, that's a killing field.
Yeah.
Starving people to death, I'd rather be shot, honestly. I'd rather be shot than starve to death.
Yeah, that's a really bad way to go.
I don't want to choose between the two, but I'd take the bullet before I'd take starvation.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, I've actually dealt with that when we were debriefing all of the North Koreans. While my first assignment there, while I was on the Z, the North Koreans starved 6 million of their own people to death. And some of the ones that survived managed to escape. And that's the only reason that they survived, is they managed to escape. And the stories they told us were horrific. And I'm not going to repeat them right here, right now on YouTube, because YouTube will definitely go, that's too graphic. We're going to have to strike your whole show.
Let's not have any of that.
Yeah, that's a bad way to go. That's a very bad way to go. Let's get back to this. How assisted dying is spread across the world and how laws differ. For the first time in almost a decade, MPs will vote on Friday on giving terminally ill adults in England and Wales the right to have an assisted death. What's our date on this one here? This is just November of last year. Yeah. Well, how about that? It's spread from Canada now to the UK. While it's something that remains illegal in most countries, more than 300 million people now live in countries which have legalized assisted dying. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Spain, and Austria have all introduced assisted dying laws since 2015, when UK MPs last voted on the issue, some allowing assisted death for those who are terminally ill. The proposed bill in England and Wales comes with safeguards supporters say will make it the strictest set of rules in the world, with patients needing the approval of a high court judge. Now, the problem, of course, is the slippery slope that Pop and I have been talking about throughout this entire thing.
Because they're going to go, it's got to be a high court judge. That's where they introduce it.
Yeah.
Then it's go down to probably the state level, the county level. Before you know it, you have a magistrate who is underneath a podunk judge making those kind of decisions for you.
But you'll have some guy who's the local undertaker who shows up at your door wearing his official black suit with his official gold badge and says, you've been sanctioned for death. But I didn't sign up for anything. That's okay. Just come with us. Come out to the van.
And since they've all been disarmed, what are they going to do about it?
Exactly correct. Exactly correct. A mother of 2 was thrown in jail for getting angry over on yet another killing in England the other day.
Yeah.
For a Facebook post that she took down. She only had it up for like an hour or 2. Then she took it down. They came and arrested her and gave her 2 years in prison anyway. So this kind of stuff is not far around the corner. You've posted 4 posts in the last year, ma'am. I'm afraid you forfeit your life.
Well, no. They do it like the Chinese do. They arrest you. You go to a concentration camp, and then you may or may not receive a cigar box of your ashes after you've been cremated.
After being harvested.
Yeah, and you never receive any kind of explanation in regards to how and why you pass away.
Right.
Yes. And for all of those people out there, that could never happen here.
Yeah.
It's because we have a constitution, and we have the First and Second Amendment, and then you have a boatload of individuals called patriots who, let's just be honest, if it gets bad enough, they're, historically speaking, they have been the ones that correct course.
I have seen quite a few posts on various social media sources. I am present on some. I am just lurking in the background on some others. A lot of the left, a lot of the American left is very, very, very afraid of rural Americans.
Yep.
They're really genuinely scared that if they cross the wrong line, we will show up armed. And I can't really say that they're wrong.
No. I mean, during the French Revolution, it was the rural people getting sick and tired of the cities and the the ruling class that took action.
That's a good, you know what? Bastille Day is in June. I feel that we should do a Bastille Day episode and we could talk about Robespierre and all of the horrors that happened during the French Revolution, because it got ugly. The guy in charge of the French socialists went crazy and was beheading everybody until everybody went, you know what? Your turn.
That's right. The slippery slope.
Yeah. And he ended up under the blade of Madame Guillotine.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the
pleasant.
These are the countries and states in the United States where euthanasia is illegal. It was legalized after 2015. Look at this.
Yep.
Did you know that it's legal in Maine?
I did not know it's legal.
Colorado.
I've heard about Colorado and California.
New Mexico.
No, that's surprising.
Mm-hmm. Oregon, Washington, Montana surprises me a little.
Yeah.
That surprises me a little, not going to lie. But you can see that in Europe, a lot of it's under discussion, but France or Spain has legalized it. And then most of Australia has legalized it. And this out here is New Zealand, and it's legalized there as well. Now, this blue one here is Colombia. In Colombia, my understanding is there's like specific rules, though. Colombia actually has some, because it's basically a Catholic country.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be like seriously in the shit before they will authorize you to. Yeah.
My criteria.
Yeah. Yep.
I get you.
Yeah. It's just, this thing is spreading around the world, and let's see what else
hang on. I always say this on the show. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. If you give people the power of life and death, that is a huge amount of power. How long do you think it's going to be before they get corrupted and start using it in some fucked up ways?
Here's a point that applies to what you're saying that everybody seems to miss. I very, very rarely hear people talk about it. One of the worst things about bureaucracies is they tend to centralize, which
Yes.
means they're nowhere near the people that they affect. So the people in the bureaucracies, you're just a concept to them.
Well, we're seeing that
You're-
right now with our
You're
government.
you're a number on a spreadsheet. You aren't real. You're a statistic. You're like an imaginary piece in their little Minecraft game that they play while they're at work.
Yeah.
And they don't think anything of you at all. It's not that they specifically hate you, these bureaucrats. The higher level ones, the politicians that are putting all these policies in place, they do. They think you're a pain in the ass and they want you dead. What's wrong with your eye?
Yeah, got a headache coming on. I'll be fine.
You got a headache coming on? You gonna be all right?
Yeah.
I'm not there.
Feels-
I'm not there. I'm not there to give you a hug. You gonna make
I'm
it?
fine.
Okay.
Like normally when it's, I got like 2 hours for it, or 2 or 3 hours before it kicks off.
No
I
homo.
feel like a hot poker going in my eye, and then the migraine
Cool.
comes on.
Yeah. You're making some fucked up faces there.
Yeah, no, I'll be all right.
Be all
It's
right.
just pain. I've been living with it for a while.
You'll be fine. Nobody's gonna die.
Yeah. That's the way it goes, man.
It is the way that it goes, man. Assisted dying around the world, where and when it is allowed. In light of the UK broadcaster Esther Ranson's revelation she's considered assisted dying, we look at the policies of other countries. This is the 19th of December 2023. So this one is only 2 years old. But you can see that it's the same countries, obviously.
Uh-huh.
This conversation, and we're kind of going backwards in time going through this, but hang on 1 second. 1 second. Anyway,
All right.
there we go. This is the slippery slope thing that you were talking about as well, because it's article after article after article. Well, it's allowed in this country, and this country is considering it. And, look at the statistics here. And these countries are sort of thinking about it, and these countries allow it. And it's just a constant, gentle barrage of these articles.
Yeah.
Over it, and they're like in the background. You don't ever see this stuff pushed to the fore.
But here's the thing. All right, as the slope gets greased up and they want to ram that skid up your ass,
No homo. What?
you're going to see the ages of these people willing to check out get
Mhm.
younger and younger.
Yes,
A lot of these
that's
people,
what's happening.
a lot of these people that might actually, want to check out, who knows if they stick around, they could come up with a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff that they could do for the human race that they won't get a chance to because they quit at a young age. They took the permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah. And it's not going to be, the girl in the wheelchair. I get that. She made a good case for her situation. She can't eat. She
Yeah.
can't get her head off the pillow most days. She's on fucking fentanyl patches. Dude,
Darren
You've
was
got
on those.
fentanyl patch stuck to your back.
Yeah, Darren had those for his leg.
Yeah. That kind of thing. It's like, wow, okay, I get that. But
I get
what
it.
you're talking about is my life is hard and I don't make very much and I'm really dissatisfied and I thought I'd be further along now. So I'm just going to check out, okay?
Yeah, I cannot get behind that. I just can't do it.
I lived in my friend's mom's basement where we improvised walls with sheets and ate bologna sandwich and ramen for like 6 months while we saved up enough money to get a fucking apartment when I was like 18 years old.
Yeah. That's
You
just the way
know?
it goes.
And we didn't think anything of it. We were like, this is cool. It'll do. I'll be fine for a couple of months.
Well, when you're young, you can get away with that stuff, but that's just it, though.
No, these kids are checking out, though. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, the youth of today, in my opinion, just
They have no resilience at all.
exactly. That's the word I was looking for.
They
None
have
at all.
Zero resilience.
And that, I mean, that's why I do a lot of my videos. Now, granted, each one of my videos isn't a stand-up, comedic special. They're comedy lectures, but I'm conveying wisdom and lessons to the younger men out there to help them out with some resiliency.
Yeah,
because they need that. They really do.
I'll do a freaking sit-in therapy session if a bunch of you guys need to talk about it. You got young people who need to talk about that. We'll set up a freaking show to do like a private show with. If you need to talk through some of that stuff, if you've got some youngsters who need to talk through some of that stuff, I'll help out the incoming generation.
Yeah,
I absolutely will.
Well, first of all, in the natural progression of manhood, when you get to a certain age, you actually look back and help shepherd and mentor the guys behind you. Because you've already fought the battles. You felt the pain. You know the lessons. You have the wisdom. And if you could pass that on to somebody before they go through those, that crazy shit, and help them get over the bridge without having to, cross the burning bridge, you're just helping out the younger guys. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Well, this is something that we're familiar with. I mean, let me refresh your memory, okay? It's 3:00 in the morning. You're in the barracks. There's a knock on the door. You open the door, and there's some private fucking snot-nosed snuggling, crying. Sorry, I got her pregnant. I don't know what to do. And I'm going to do it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Smith, calm down. Come inside. Come here. Go over to your fridge. Get a beer. Here's a beer. Okay, sit down. Let's talk this through. Okay.
Let's work it out.
Let's figure out what we need to do here. And it was our job as NCOs.
Yeah.
Left, right, and center. I said I was present when babies were born. I gave 2 guys away at their weddings. All kinds of shit like that.
Yep. That's
I officiated at weddings. I didn't give guys away at their weddings. That's gay.
Yeah, I know.
I need to retract that homo suspicion point.
I have been the best.
I used the wrong word. Yeah, exactly.
I have been the best man at probably 24 weddings. I'm the godfather to half a dozen kids. I am crazy uncle, grandpa to a bunch of other kids.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. It was part and parcel of what we did while we were in the service. We were uncles, parents, brothers, fathers.
Yeah.
The guy who beat your ass if you really, really needed it.
And listen, we're the old guys now warning you to pay attention to this trend because it is coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yep. I hear you. It is absolutely coming down the pipe. And there's going to be different flavors of it too. There's the military one that I was talking about earlier. There's this soft and gentle, slippery slope one that we're watching with the girl in the wheelchair. Yeah, her case is good, but what happens to the next girl who's, she was a ballet dancer and she hurt her ankle and now she can't ballet dance anymore. She just can't take it.
Her life is over.
My life is over.
Yeah. I can't get behind that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Or they'll do something like you have too many people living in this area. So rather than move them out of the area, they're going to go, okay, you need to come with us. We're going to take you to a temporary relocation center. And by the way, here's some
Uyghur Muslims.
Yeah. Yeah. China's already been doing it.
Yeah. They've been selling their organs for about a decade and a half now.
Yep. The Tibetans too. They did it to the Tibetans decades ago.
They're still doing it to the Tibetans.
Yeah. Yep. So this has been going on for a long
And what about this
time.
What about those people who are like, you know what? I just want to check out and I'll just sell my organs so my family could, prosper.
Yeah. There's that too. There's very quickly T2207U in the chat. I'll get to the Proton after the show, but I do see you. So carry on. Anyway, he put a couple of messages in there. I'm like, okay, I need to say I'm just going to address this real quick. I'm not going to read emails during the show. I'm not going to do that. We do that after the show, but I do see, when emails come through and all of that. Anyway, speaking of messaging and things like that, why don't you do that thing.
All right. Now, for those of you that don't know, this channel has been demonetized beyond all rhyme and reason. At one point, we used to pull down anywhere between 5 and 8, sometimes 11 Gs a month on ad revenues and what have you. We're getting not even 10% of that number, 8 to 10%, sometimes 11 on a good month. And this is not cheap. This is expensive. And we are trying to save as many lives as humanly possible on a shoestring budget of operating this channel as if it were tradecraft. Meaning we run this channel, or I run this channel like a unconventional warfare scenario, because I am still in the war for hearts and minds. All right. And any little bit you send in helps us go a long way. We're up to 561 lives saved from suicide using nothing but logic, reason, and comedy. Now, I'm not going to be able to ride to everyone's rescue, but I can, with this platform, ride by, throw you some tools so you could fucking help yourself. And if need be, pull security while you do it. It is what it is. For whatever reason, what I'm doing is working. I have sat there in the military since 9/11 and watched our government roll through billions, dare I say it, trillions of dollars in the past quarter of a century, hiring an army of counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists to fight this, let's just be honest, this uncontrollable amount of individuals committing suicide needlessly, and they haven't even been able to dent those numbers whatsoever. And I'm just one crazy son of a bitch making fun of things out there that are really injuring men, crushing their souls, ripping their hearts out, issuing the wounds that never heal, and helping them deal with that using comedy, logic, and reason. And we're trying to get out there in front of as many people as we can. And whatever little bit you can send us will go a long way. So thank you in advance. Let us continue.
We shall. I hit the wrong button somehow. What happened there?
You hit the wrong button.
Serious.
Evil
Oh,
button push
we've
monkey
got
hit button.
we've got an early button pushing monkey. That's what happened there.
Yeah, you got here early.
We got an early button pushing monkey.
What's up, gents?
What's going on, man? We're talking about doing things that people shouldn't do in certain conditions, but in other conditions, sometimes it's okay. But
So in other
it's a
words,
slippery
things.
slope.
In other words, things and stuff.
Yeah,
Things
well, I've got a
and
couple
stuff.
friends of mine who are like staunch Catholics and are totally against it in any form or fashion. And they're like, I'm going to ride it out to the bitter end until I go meet my maker and see Jesus. And look, I get it.
No, you won't.
I understand. I don't think I'm that brave, to be honest with you. If it were happening to me, I would ride it out as far as I could, and then that would be it. It's just
No.
that simple.
No. Look, I'm Catholic as well. But when it comes down to something like that, it's one of those things where you can't know. It is. It's one of those things where you don't know until you're faced with the actual thing.
Correct.
I mean, it just is what it is. And this is my personal opinion, okay? The Bible, I'm not going to go into the whole spiel here. I'm not going to get preachy or anything like that, but there are tons of examples of this thing called forgiveness. And in my personal belief system, when it's time for me to check out, I go and I talk to a guy named Pete. And he'll go through my life, and I'm probably going to be there for a while. There's going to be a long discussion about whether or not I should be allowed in right away, whether I have to spend some time thinking about my activities, or
You
whether
want to walk through with me.
Yeah, I'll probably get the walkthrough. And
you bring some beer.
Right. It is my personal belief that if there is extenuating circumstances to a degree where it really wasn't any other option, I'm pretty sure the worst thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to have to go think about it for a minute, and then you'll be allowed in. That's my personal belief. I don't have to have anybody else believe what I believe. I'm not that kind of a guy. I believe what I believe. And that's what I believe.
Write it in, baby.
It'll get sorted out during your exit interview. So
That's right.
whatever happens, happens.
And you get read off the mission.
That's right. That is absolutely correct. So the slippery slopes you're talking about, you've got the military slippery slope, which I think they're really going to try to start doing because they abuse the crap out of us. They do. And then when you try to get help, there's no help for you. My help consisted of, and I don't care who says this is racist or what have you. You can call me an istophobe, idiot, all you like. But the fact of the matter was, it was a fat Indian woman who stank of bad Indian food and barely spoke English, who claimed to be a psychiatrist, who read 15 questions off of a clipboard, scribbled something down, and gave me a prescription for head meds. That was my help when I went to the VA for help. That is what it is. Those are the absolute facts. I don't care what you think about it. That's what happened. Anyway, the military one, and then there's the media one, the societal one that we're looking at here, where it's like a gentle wave, a little like a tide of articles about, it's exactly what it is. It's a psyop. Getting you used to the idea, getting you accustomed to the notion, occasionally pinging you with things like, Logan's Run to see if you're okay with being smoked at 30 years old. There's, you can have all the hot chicks you want. You just have to check out at 30.
Yeah, not doing it.
And then there's the governmental ones where they're really seriously considering quotas for this stuff. And if you go into the hospital in some countries now, it's my understanding that if you go into the hospital in Canada and you have enough stuff wrong with you, they either just let you die, or there are rumors of, I have not confirmed any of this, there are rumors of, they will smoke you.
Yep. Or they will highly recommend that you volunteer for the smoking.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, they will encourage you. And look, when you're in a vulnerable state, you can be talked into doing all kinds of crazy shit. Pop and I both went through Whip Me, Spank Me camps. And when you are disoriented and don't know what's going on and you're all screwed up in the head, things that would clearly be unreasonable in the normal world start to sound reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
it's really surreal.
That's a big no.
Yeah, but exactly. So when you're in that state in a bed in a hospital, who knows what you're going to anything to get that pain. And all they have to do is dial your pain meds down so it hurts that much more.
And here's another pain. Like, what about emotional pain? In my opinion, emotional pain is the worst pain there is.
Yes.
Because there's no guarantee when it's going to end.
Yes. I would rather have broken a limb for each time I went through real emotional pain.
Correct.
Than go through that emotional pain.
Because if you break an arm or leg, 6-8 weeks in a cast, you'll be fine.
Yes.
Emotional pain, you don't know how long you're going to be on that bull's back doing your 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, you're in emotional pain. Is that justifiable for you to check out? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I
don't think so.
I've come out the back end of that meat grinder.
But you don't know my pain.
Yeah, I get it. Listen, I do.
I can't take it anymore. I've lived 20 years. I'm 20 years old, and the pain, I just can't take it anymore. You aren't even getting started.
Yeah.
You're not even getting started.
You haven't even got your ass beat properly yet. You just wait.
Back in our day, your first proper ass beating usually happened by like 10 or 12.
Yes.
But these kids today, I mean, they're not even allowed to fight at school. They need to bring that back. That would solve, in my opinion, a lot of the emotional nonsense.
No, I did a video back in the day called "We Bring Back the Bullies."
Yeah.
Or why we need bullies.
Yep.
And I got all kinds of hate mail for that one.
It's the first set of girls in society.
Yeah.
You learn to toughen up, and you learn where your left and right boundaries are. It's there for a purpose.
Here's another thing is we have a whole bunch of people out there being raised in broken families. They're psychologically incomplete. You need to get the map from both your parents, one from your mother, one from your father. If you don't get the map from your father, you wander the world lost for a long time, and sometimes you never find your way.
Yeah.
I get it, but that should not be a reason for you to smoke yourself. I'm sorry, I cannot get behind that. I
Yep.
can't.
Yep. Now, here is the next phase of our slippery slope, and it is argument from authority, which is a logical fallacy in which you state that your argument is correct because somebody in authority is there.
Yeah, get the hell
Basically.
out of here.
The legal status of assisted dying in different countries, and this is one of the well, it's legal. Well, surely it must be fine. It's legal. Look, they've made a decision. It's legal. You get off somebody. Have your mother-in-law killed. It'll be fine. It's a
And that's what is that England?
This
That
is in fact
UK?
This is House of Dying. It's in MP's private business in Westminster, Britain. Yes,
So they're from Ook.
Ook. London, Britain is to debate whether to legalize assisted dying. This is from last November of 2024. Below is a list of the countries which allow people to end their lives and are considered doing so. Again, it's the usual list of places here, but the meaningful part of this article is that it is one of many that I found on different sites. And while they all word slightly differently, they all send the exact same message.
Propaganda.
This is another form of propaganda. The slow, insidious peppering with all of these ideas that, oh, well, it's legal here. It's legal there. We can just make it legal here and it'll be fine. Next thing you know, you're off to the oxygen pods for a little therapy. I can confirm and affirm that the United States also remains committed to what? This effort is ready to facilitate an end to, oh, okay, that's Ukraine. It's just some other video playing in our path. Spain, Germany, and France. The French don't surprise me all that much. We call them the surrender monkeys for a reason.
I'm surprised at Spawn.
I am a little surprised at Spawn. They're usually not so morbid. But one of the other things that fine, I'll accept the cookies. I don't really care. That is happening is the NGOs that are running all of the money and everything like that. There are NGOs for that stuff too.
Yep. And unfortunately, we've cut all their money off. Well, not all of it, but we will find it and cut it off when it comes from the United States.
It needs to be found and cut off. Assisted dying around the world, around 300 million people around the world have legal access to assisted dying, ensuring dying people do not suffer against their wishes. These laws have functioned safely and effectively for decades. No law has ever been repealed. There's the argument from authority again. The law is there. It's fine. Everything's fine. There's a law. You'll be fine.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. It'll be fine.
Now just lay down in the oxygen chamber and we'll get you some therapy.
Yeah, listen.
Different models.
Hang on a minute. This is the crazy part here.
Okay.
You can go to your library. You can check out a book on natural herbs. And there's all kinds of stuff growing in the wild that will handle whatever needs you have if you get to the point. You don't really need to involve the medical system or anything like that. All right. If you are done and say you have bone cancer, and they're telling you, well, pretty soon we're not going to be able to give you any more painkillers and you're just going to have to ride it in, and that's not an option to you. The information's in the library. Look it up for yourself. You may have to do a little leg work. Got bone cancer, and figure it out.
Yeah.
And listen, that's how people used to handle their business back in the day. They didn't have to involve the state.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Now, I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying it is a logical option.
Like, why did I just stutter there? I appear to have experienced some sort of brain short circuit.
It happens to me all the time.
There you go. Like we discussed at the beginning of the show, Pop and I both agree that there are times where, and it's listed here, terminal illness or unbearable suffering.
All right,
Look,
but-
if
all right,
you're
the
at a
unbearable
point
suffering,
where
though. The unbearable suffering, is this like emotional pain for unbearable suffering? Because if that is the definition, no.
Johnny Get Your Gun, where the
Yeah.
guy's
Yeah.
lost all of his limbs,
Yes.
he's lost his ability, he's lost his jaw and both of his eyes, and he's wrapped in bandages, plugged into an IV.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. That's him for the rest of his life.
Or
That's to
something
me,
along those lines.
to that degree, to such a degree that you are completely wrecked and basically helpless due to your suffering. I get it. I do. I honestly understand. Or if you have a terminal illness and if you check out now, you don't go through 6 months of your body eating itself and your bones collapsing and becoming Mr. Glass, where if somebody sneezes in the next room, you break a rib, you know?
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's like okay, that kind of a terminal illness, I get it. I do.
Yeah.
Honest guys.
I get it.
You know, I feel terrible for you, and I wish you did not have to go down that route. However,
Yeah, we had a guy in the 425
Yeah.
who was getting treated for lung cancer and was small cell type.
Mhm.
They went in, they took out a couple of tumors. He was responding okay to the chemo, controlling with his diet. And they gave him the all clear. And then all of a sudden, came back with a vengeance, went right to his brain. And that man suffered. And I'm going to be honest.
Jesus. I can't
I'll
even
be honest. Because the whole unit went to go see him, you know, while he was suffering on his deathbed.
Yeah.
And if there wasn't people in the room, I would have choked him to death with my bare fucking hands out of an act of love for this guy. That's how much I respected him. And it broke my heart to see him suffer like that.
We had a guy, Dixon, who got into a motorcycle wreck, and we all went to see him, and he was in a similar state where there was nothing you could tell, there was nothing you could do. And we actually discussed it for a little. We're like, do we need to sneak in there and unplug him and let him? And he passed before we came to our decision, fortunately.
Good.
But we were seriously planning, hey, let's go unplug Dixon. The guy's he's done.
Yeah.
You know, like a part of his skull was crushed in.
Yeah.
The machine was the only thing keeping his heart beating. He wouldn't respond to touch. A couple of us tried to grab his hand, see if we could get anything out of him at all.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't there anymore. And it was all fucked up. But he passed before we had to make that decision. So yeah.
I get it. Yep. And this guy who was in our unit had a really cool history. He was a company commander in Vietnam.
Wow.
And out of the blue, when he was an older gentleman, he said, "You know, I think I'm going to jump out of airplanes." He signed up for the goddamn unit. He was a hard charging son of a bitch.
That's tough shit, man. That's tough shit. We got, let's see, where are we here? Let's take it to the United States, where medical aid in dying is authorized. Medical aid in dying is currently authorized in 10 states and Washington, D.C. Ooh, can we expedite D.C.? California, Maine, New Mexico, Washington, D.C., Colorado, Montana, Oregon, Washington State, Hawaii, New Jersey, and Vermont. All of these are fairly recent, with Vermont leading the charge 12 years ago. It's my understanding that people in Vermont are a little strange to begin with.
Yeah.
And California is not shocking. Maine, not really. None of these are particularly shocking. Hawaii kind of surprises me. I didn't see Hawaii coming.
What?
I took them to be a lot. I had like one layover at Kunia.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever been in Hawaii. We just went down into the freaking hole and got some briefings and set up some gear and then reloaded onto a freaking bird. And we were, off to the other side of the Pacific again. What is medical aid in dying? The widely supported end-of-life option that provides dying people with peace of mind and comfort during a difficult time, that is authorized in the 10 states we mentioned. Who are we? Compassion Choices is the nation's oldest and largest nonprofit, working to improve care, expand options, and empower everyone to chart their end-of-life journey. In other words, it is another NGO.
Yep.
Anytime you've got signs like that are nice and pre-printed and have generalized slogans, I support death with dignity, things like that. This is an NGO, and you can bet that you've got some lovely communists behind that whole thing. Dare I even say Bolsheviks?
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
Get the terminology correct. Feminists with tits.
Jimmy had his finger on that button. That Bolshevik showed up fast.
I had a feeling.
He knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming.
That's funny.
Ha-ha!
Funny. That's funny. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Negative.
So who are these? Do we have an about for these people? Because this is their site about us.
Well, here's the thing here. All right.
I'm curious. I'm going to see what these people look like. Go ahead.
With what we've just learned about the NGOs, that stands for non-government organization.
Yes.
They receive so much tax dollars that they are government organizations.
Yes.
So the way I look at it now, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them.
Yeah.
Now, I run a nonprofit. Redonkulas operates under secondclasscitizen.org. And we cannot get on any corporate donation lists because of what we do. Because I am a savage, brutal verbalist when it comes to the communist with tits out there and fighting the suicide shit. I literally cannot get on the donation list anywhere.
Because you refuse to do it the way that they want you to do it. You want to do it in the way that a senior NCO would handle things, and they don't like that you're effective, to be completely blunt.
Well, also, I will not serve the forces of darkness. I will not do it.
You will not fillet the penis?
I will not do it.
I understand.
Listen, any system that exists that allows this suffering to go on is evil. And that's probably one of the reasons why we can't break out of the algorithm on YouTube, and we can't get on any lists for nonprofits. I can't even buy advertising, for the most part, across the internet. I've tried.
It was pulling teeth for us to get on channels 50 and 62.
Yeah. I had to redo the commercial 3 times to get on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want you mentioning the word suicide, even though they were okay with helping veterans prevent suicide. They didn't want him to talk about what he was doing in the commercial. It was the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, here seems to be a pattern with these NGOs for end-of-life comfort. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 7 names up there. Kevin. Okay. Hi, Kevin. Barbara, Brandy, Trish, Andrea, Crystal, and Mickey, who I'm guessing is not male.
Yeah. So a bunch of women.
I hate to say it, but it's a pattern. Anytime you come around, Charmaine Mansala. There's a Jonathan Patterson, Chief People and Culture Officer. But I'll bet you that Jonathan Patterson is gentle.
Sugar in this tank?
Sugar in the tank, light and loafers.
The two-way butt enjoyer?
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. That just has Chief People and Culture Officers are. It's a pattern.
Fecal freak.
So this is just some pattern recognition here. These organizations, seriously, they're usually all women. All of the significant players are women.
Don't make me pull out Dr. Seuss on
Oh no, God, no.
All right, keep going. I'm sorry. I'm
Let's
starting
see
to
if
get
I
really
can-
bothered. That's why I'm
Let's
laughing.
see if I can get out of here before it's too late. Campaign for Dignity in Dying. Now, this previous one was the Compassion and Choices. This one is Campaign for Dignity in Dying. It's very strange how they have similar names and similar, compassionate feelings for people, and how they set all of this up. It all seems to be basically the same thing, same color palettes, same basic messaging. It's almost as if they're all taking instructions from somewhere centralized.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why.
All right, now in regards to this like death of dignity thing, I have a couple of close friends that are medical doctors. One of them's
Sure.
retired now, and
Oh
he
my. Yeah, go ahead.
he would always get that request, like, I'm done. I just want to check out. And there was a couple times you're like, well, I'm going to leave these here for you for pain. Take them as needed. And he would leave. And a lot of time that was like some pretty potent stuff. Of course,
good
these
time.
individuals were older, dealing with cancer, and they were done.
Yeah.
And there's ways this could be handled without having to siphon off billions of dollars of taxpayer funds to fund these NGOs.
Yeah.
In which, I'm going to be honest, is propaganda. It just is what it is.
They are most of the time serving a single master that happens to live in Davos.
Forces of darkness.
Working from a pat agenda that they are taught from a very young age, in the case of the current generation, all the way back to kindergarten now. And they also are there to siphon money, as we've learned with the whole U.S. aid thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just money siphoning.
And Act Blue.
Yeah. Well, that's all part and parcel of the same thing. We saw flickers of this with the Acorn Foundation. Remember them? They got caught taking huge numbers of tax dollars and funneling to other people. And Acorn got shut down, but re-emerged like 3 months later.
Yeah. Because
So
listen, there's an agenda behind this.
Yeah.
All right. They want this to happen.
Yeah.
They want to grease the skids because they know we're evil, hairless monkeys. We're going to mission creep this shit until they get to their 500 million.
Now, Pop, I know you're out of the dating game, but I want you to just keep an open mind here and consider giving Miss Marie Louise Papworth a call.
I don't think so.
That's
Looks like there's an apple.
That's a man, baby.
Got a Madam's apple. Means there's a banana below. No, thank you.
Yeah, I was.
I saw that. I'm like, no way.
I was jumping through the chats there because apparently MGTOW had an Amber Heard moment here tonight. But yeah, I want a hard drive request on Mr. Chris Cregan and Marie Louise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we'll find stuff and things.
Mm-hmm. Chris
Cregan. And listen, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you, if you were to talk to these people individually, their heart's in the right place. I just want people not to suffer. Yeah, and listen, I get it. I feel the same way in regards to certain criteria when this goes on. But I know how the human race is.
Okay, in this particular group, I'm going to call bullshit and say those top three right there reek of one thing.
Money.
Pedophilia.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
They reek of it. That all three of their faces match the profile of all of the high-profile cadiddlers.
Cadiddlers
of recent time.
That's a
we need a word we can say that doesn't ping on the radar. Cadiddler, I think, fits the bill.
It's a new candy.
Yeah. Dr. Jonathan Romaine there also looks a little touchy on the feely side, as does Mr. David Spencer and Gavin St. Pierre. That's
nasty.
He's got the rapé look. He's got the rapé look.
Yeah, that's the same smile that he gives to women he meets at bars.
And then the roofiness happens, and the duct tape, and the screaming, and the wailing, and the
Roofiness.
Yeah. And then waking up in a tub full of ice, missing your kidney.
Yeah, you ever seen that practical joke? They actually did that to a guy. They didn't actually take his kidney, but they drugged him, and then they woke up in a bathtub full of ice. And
That's
there's a
brutal.
guy there.
That's not funny, dude. I would smoke you. I would straight up smoke you if you pulled something like that.
But you have to laugh. I mean, the guy wasn't hurt at all, but I'll straight up smoke you for that.
Okay. I will give you, if you pulled something like that, it was all in unit, like your team or your platoon did that to you. Okay. Oh, now I can see some humor here, because we were some sick, twisted bastards. But if I was like at a bar as a civilian and woke up like that, I'm going hunting.
Yeah,
because there are certain privileges civilians do not have that platoon mates and teammates have. That civilians do. You do not have those privileges. There are certain humor lines you are not allowed to cross.
That's right. But it was still funny.
Yeah, it was still funny.
I'm sorry. I'm going to say this.
It's funny, but you're going to have to die. Sorry.
That was funny, but you still have to die.
I'd be holding you underwater in the bathtub. It was funny. Yeah. It was funny, but sorry, man.
It's not me, man. It's not me. It is what it is.
Oh, my God. And here comes the military dark humor, because this has been a very dark subject that we have been talking about tonight. To recap this, the assisted dying thing is catching on, and it looks very much like it's very deliberate and has a very Logan's Run feel to it. The thumb that we use for this show, the bye-bye bed, shows an actual Canadian deathbed. And it looks like they're really trying to push this. We know they want to bring the population down to 500 million. They've said it. And by they, I mean Davos, Switzerland.
WEF.
The WEF, the Bolsheviks.
Yeah, drink.
We know that they want this. And one of the ways that they're going to do this, there are several ways, but this way is to make assisted suicide palatable, and then make assisted suicide even mandatory in some cases.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been diagnosed with cancer. Oh, well, it's just this. Can't you just, all it is right now is a fleck on my skin. Can't you just cut that out? No, I'm afraid we're going to have to euthanize you.
The best we can do is kill you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Blake and I have been using that joke for about a year now.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Best we can do is kill you. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But seriously.
Blake and I covered this to a little smaller degree about 8-9 months back. But yeah, I mean, this is getting out of control here.
It's definitely something that they are attempting to push through various channels. Like I said toward the beginning of the show, Jimmy, you missed our new segment. Who pissed the dwarf off this time?
Oh boy.
I think they're going to start pushing it in the military with guys that come back who they'll probably establish something like an anger rating. And if you score a specific score on the anger rating, they'll recommend that you go get, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which is really a thing. And they'll put you in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and then it will suddenly become hypobaric and not so oxygenated.
Or it just could be carbon monoxide. You don't even feel it.
Yeah.
You don't even feel it.
They could carbon your oxides.
Mm. Or they use nitrogen. Mm-hmm. You don't feel that either. You're just giggly at the end. And then you're done.
Yep. It's like that one, I think it was up in Canada. They tried the bye-bye bed with nitrogen, and it didn't work. So they went in there and had to,
choke him out.
Manually strangle him.
They had to technology didn't work, so they went in there with manpower.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that particular one actually.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That was pretty
fucked up.
grim.
Yeah.
Why don't we do something a little less grim and macabre and kick into Los Super Chatos?
Yes.
All right. Yep.
Let's get it done.
It has been quite the macabre show tonight.
It's been a weird
that I've
one.
seen. But do you know what would cheer everybody up? The brand new show that our own Battle Dwarf is on.
No,
ladies and gentlemen.
Hang on. There isn't going to be any like copyrighted music in this that's going to get us a strike.
No. This is fresh from Billy Von Baum. He sent it to me yesterday, and I got it on the buttons here.
Sweet baby Jesus, I'm so scared.
Everybody, get ready for the brand new hit show to come to your streaming sources. Dwarf and Nance.
In Bolsheviksville, where the sun shines bright, live Dwarf and Nance, what a charming sight. With Sandy the maid and Pop dropping by, and Hillary's antics that'll make you sigh. Oh, Dwarf and Nance, they've got it made, with laughter, love, and a living made. From morning toast to an evening dance, it's always a hoot with Dwarf and Nance.
Coming
Billy
soon.
Von Baum! I hate you. I am not worthy. I am not worthy. That shit is awesome.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Outstanding.
I couldn't tell you guys how hard I was laughing my balls off when I first saw that.
I hate you so much, Billy Von Baum. You fucking genius.
So there you go, ladies and gents. When the show gets a little too dark for us, we'll play some Dwarf and Nance.
Wow.
What a magnificent bastard.
Oh my God, that is fucking hysterical.
Dude,
I hate you so fucking much.
That was
Again,
awesome.
Billy Von Baum, go check him out on YouTube, Rumble, subscribe to him, tell him that the regiment sent you.
Oh,
and he'll appreciate it.
Holy ass balls.
That's hilarious.
Oh man. Yeah, I was
I'm
laughing.
still
I was
laughing
laughing
inside.
so hard. That was so funny.
Oh my
let's see.
God.
Jump over here to the YouTube side of things. I got 433 viewers and 262 likes. I'd like to see that hit 300 by the end of the show, guys. I have other buttons to make it not so fun and light.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
But let's see. The first one here, we got Goat Milk with $2 from Canada. No comment. Thank you there, good sir. See, Bone Dust Crew with $5 says, can you make a playlist of Chief Kick a Bitch's stories? I'm trying to myself, and I've only found 3 so far.
We'll get a hold of Blake. He knows all of those titles. Send us an email, darklist12gmail.com. I'll forward it to him, see what we can do.
Yep, hell yeah. And Goat Milk coming back again with $10 Canada. Made in Canada, medical assistance in death. It's horrific. They paralyze you, then start the process where your lungs filled with liquid. You cannot scream. You drown slowly. It could take hours.
That doesn't sound good at all. Why don't they just give you an injection as something that puts you to sleep?
That is sadistic as hell.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's not medical assisted death. That's medical assisted torture.
That's murder.
No thanks.
Oh my God, that's evil.
Yeah.
No thanks. See, next one we got Alex Patino here with $10. Says, speaking of movies about 25 years ago, I saw a movie called The Spring, where in a small town people would stay young up to 100 years, then on their 100th birthday would be submerged in the spring or deleted.
I mean, 100 years is a damn good run.
I mean, I can almost get behind that idea. 100 years of youth and then they drown you? Okay.
I'm not particular one for drowning. I mean, just give me all
I want to just go to sleep and then
just maybe a bright flash and there you go. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, hit me over the back of the head before you drown me. But okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You go to sleep and then you wake up touring the universe. I think that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened to Darren.
Hell yeah.
My buddy Darren passed away, pretty much in this house.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Got Alex Patino coming back with a few in a row here. Says, good old purgatory where you'll go through the gauntlet of ass paddling and pee-pee slapping, then you'll get in.
Okay.
There are various versions of what purgatory is, but
Yeah.
Let's see. Alex coming back again. We got two here. One's from a correction here. Had a little bit of a typo there. Says, I do agree with bullies, but March 10th in Killeen, Texas, middle school for one 4-year-old's girl deleted another because of bullying.
I get it. There is no correct answer.
Yeah.
we're not.
Nope.
I don't think we're discussing the same versions of bullying. What Pop and I went through were pretty different.
I used to just come to your house. So that's how I handled it.
Yeah. Yes, it's a different thing than what you see today. Anyway.
Yep. Got Kenj 1090 here with $20. No comment. Thank you, good sir. And of course, YouTube's got a freeze on me because it's a pain in my ass.
Nice.
Let's see here, guy. Sharpshooter James here with $4.99 says, Battle Dwarf, listen to the Metallica song One. It's more or less about Johnny Get Your Gun.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yep.
No, I've listened to that song. Yep. And I also read the book in Miss Dorkins class in English in high school.
Oh yeah, that's where I read it. Was Mr. She was a weird one. She was a really good English teacher.
Pair with hair.
Boy, she is a pair with hair. Yes. Yeah.
I'm not going to ask.
Let's
see. Over on the Rumble side, we got 565 watchers and only 144 buttons of
what the hell?
Up.
Subscribe and
Come
like,
on, you guys.
What are you doing?
All right, here. Pull up the chat here. First one from N2 Gas says, guys, can anyone name a second Republican riot?
Well,
I can't name a first Republican riot.
I was just thinking, no, there was the Battle of Athens. That was pretty much Republican, but they were veterans.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But other than that, I can't really think of any.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's people out there, oh, what about January 6th? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Smurf my balls.
I mean, that was not an insurrection. At best, it was a partial riot.
You know, and I'm going to repeat this again. Pop and I were both. I wasn't on the ground there, but I was Overwatch, and Pop was actually on the ground. So, if you can match up with that sort of information about the event, I might consider listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's see. Next one here. We got Dear Sarge. Good to see you there, good sir. It says Dwarf got the green weenie sideways.
I did. They parked an M113 sideways in my ass.
Oh, wow.
Did they at least spit on it?
Mm-mm.
I didn't think so.
No lube.
No lube.
Let's see. Mando coming in and says, how long until people who have not reproduced are deleted as not to be a drain on the system? Just a dark question. Jimmy, play something lighter. Well, we saw Battle Dwarf's new show here, but we haven't seen Pop getting chased by a big blue dildo in a while, so we'll go with that one.
Where was that filmed?
In front of Blake's house.
Blake's house. Okay. Nice.
Let's see here. Next one here. Holy smoking Joe Frazier. Tracy Varjabedian. Thank you. $100. Hello, guys. I miss you both.
Thank you, Law Dog.
Hello, dog.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's see here. We'll keep scrolling down. And I did see that I did catch the chat in the Rumble side that said MGTOW had pulled a full Amber Heard. I did finally get it to re-upload, but it doesn't look like no super chats over there tonight.
So she shit the bed?
Yeah. So unfortunately, there. Let's see. Dear Sarge coming back says, guys, rant more so Pop can spring for some Midol.
Get the hell out of here with that.
There you go. And Mando coming back says, no joke here, Pop. You have my sympathies. My migraines start with visual fuzzing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I usually lose peripheral vision in the right eye.
Oh, good time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had one of those kind of migraines, and I hope they never fucking happen again.
I do not have migraines, but I have a form of tinnitus that simulates a migraine more or less. It goes up in volume until I just can't focus on anything. And it's very, very distracting.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
See, next one here we got from Dark Mad Dog 21. It says, FYI, I can't work or do shit. I'm a spectator on other people's lives, watching them fall in love and shit. Most days I'm okay, but some days all those stuff replays and gives me dark thoughts.
Don't hang up on that stuff too much, man.
Yeah.
Don't hang up on other people's stuff too much. There's a lot of things that you can do for you. Don't worry so much about it.
Yep.
You know, we all have a path we go down.
Yep.
Because if you worry about other people and what they think of you, you are their slave.
Yep.
He continues in this one. He says, I'm 31. I do month-long projects but being so powerless with life, being on welfare, no loving wife, no future. Seeing people depresses me even more. I apparently am a Spurg, and I'm pretty worn out. Yep. Still hanging on, man. Still here.
31. If all else fails, live out a motherfucking spite, bro.
And you're doing projects and stuff. You don't have to have all of those things. You can have your own path. Become a scholar. Become a scholar in your own right, or go make yourself useful in the community. Teach kids to read. Teach kids to do something. You said you work on projects. What kind of projects do you work on? You know how useful it would be if somebody started teaching young kids basic woodworking skills or whatever it is that you're capable of doing.
Yep.
Put your skills to some use and go contribute to the community. You die 2 deaths. Okay. The first time when you eject from your meat suit. The second death is when your name is spoken for the last time.
Which comes a lot sooner than you think.
Not always. If you go out and you establish yourself in the community, you become helpful and useful and get things going and help people learn to do stuff like that. You might even have a freaking building named after you, and now you're living for 300 years. It's not all about the standard issue, marriage, kids, picket fence, 2.5 kids, and a dog.
That American dream they sold us has long since been dead.
Yep. Make a different one. Just make up your own.
It pretty much died after Vietnam.
Yeah. Make up your own damn story. You don't have to follow the standard script. Throw that shit out the fucking window. Make your own story.
The standard script is boring.
It is boring. Carry on.
Yep, carrying on. So we got Tomahawk here with $10 says, never sign up to be an organ donor on your driver's license. They're more than likely let you die so they can sell them to try to save your life.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. No, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I tell them. Would you like to be an organ donor? I'm like, fuck no.
No, I am going to leave this plane of earth with all of my stuff that God gave me. Thank you very much. See, next one, Cliff 3188 coming in says, Battledorf, compare the supporters of this euthanasia with the supporters of 15-minute cities. Guarantee you'll see the lines cross.
Correct.
It's the same people.
Yep. To give an idea of how it'll be used, drop the Sector 7 plate.
The different NGOs that we showed with the same messaging, but only slightly different wording and basically the same format, the same color palettes, everything. That's indicative of propaganda emanating from a single source.
Absolutely.
Yep. See, next one here, we got Hooliganism. $10 says, you need to shut the doors until everyone in here is given a $20 love offering. I mean, $20 is $20.
That's a little...
Yeah, we're
think
skirting a homo suspicion point there, my friend.
I think you have to pull out the disco ball, Jimmy. Sorry.
Where's it at? Yeah, I'll play it.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on here, we got K-Note 72. It says, Pop's story about the friend whose cancer came back with a vengeance. That's exactly how my mom went. 5th year of breast cancer remission, and then came back rough to spread to her brain.
Yep.
Nathan, my friend Nathan, pretty much my best friend when I was a teenager. He got leukemia, and then Tessa's brother, Pop, he got leukemia, and then he was in remission, and everything was great, and then it came roaring back, and it just smoked him.
Yep.
And I was overseas when that happened, and I was really mad that I was overseas. I got to see him while he was in remission, thank God. But yeah, same thing.
There you go. Broken Pine 284 coming in says, we had a well blowout on a rig recently. The gas plume ignited while the rig crew was trying to regain well control. One 24-year-old kid was burned badly. He had no eyes or ears left.
Oh my God.
He asked for self-deletion.
I get it.
Wow, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one there.
That's a tough one.
Yep.
There was a lot of that came out of Iraq that I recall. I saw a lot of guys come back toasty.
Well, here's another thing. While I was in Iraq, and I became the first sergeant, I sat every single soldier down, and I asked them this question: when do you not want to come back? I couldn't write that down or anything.
Yep.
But like, if one of the soldiers said, "Hey, look, if this happens to me, I don't want to make the medevac," well, then that motherfucker would not make the medevac. That's just the way it is. Most of the time, it was, horrible burns, loss of multiple limbs, stuff like that.
We had
that happens easily.
We had instructions. We would all get together before we went out and give instructions. None of it was ever written down.
You can't write it down.
But we all had our instructions.
Yep.
There you go. And let's see, next one. Next one here from Nick Coldis for $20 says, some serious shit, brothers. Take care.
Rah.
Well, this we cover real world scenarios and real world problems. And the reason we're covering this is because this is the canary in the coal mine. You're going to see more of this. And if you haven't learned anything at all from watching Redonkulas, we called out the propaganda from the beginning. Because Steve and I have seen this propaganda play out. We've seen it made and implemented in other countries, and it's the same formula. They're doing the same thing here now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And that's because of what we do, and because of the fact that we're engaged in the business of trying to save the lives of our brothers, we want people to know that there are people out there who want you to ride that slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go to them. Come to us. We'll help you through it.
Exactly. That's what we're here for. Let's see. Tomahawk coming in. This one we might have to have a Canadian viewer verify for us. He says, I'm told the commercials in Canada promoting MAID are the only commercials with strictly white people in them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That would not surprise me at all.
Would not surprise me at all.
Would not surprise me.
Yeah. They can't have the certain people of a certain peaceful religion in there because that would be racism.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Let's see. Looks like we got a couple of duplicates in here. Yep, we got a lot of duplicates. Rumble, fix your shit, man.
They've been doing that for a while.
Yep. Let's see if I can find a new, fresh one here. There's the 4th and 5th ones that I've seen so far from the same guys. What the hell's going on, man?
What are you doing, man?
What are you doing, man?
Come on.
Where are we on Rumble here? Let me
Let's
see.
Here. Oh, there's the next one. Okay, we're going to liven up the mood here again tonight because Alucard's got a request.
Of course he does.
It's okay. He's asking for the singing captain.
We
Okay.
did have a request for singing pop. You guys are jackasses. Always want to watch the same shit over and over again. Pick new videos.
Look at me, I wanna be the captain of the sea.
About time.
The poop that came from me, I'd rather steer us to debauchery.
Careful what you ask for, video guy. Careful what you ask for.
See,
I want to know what's with the 4 silent black guys standing behind him. What's going on with that?
I don't know, but I'm wearing murder horse horns.
Murder horse horns. Okay.
Yeah, that annoys me.
There you go. Let's see. Next one here from MGTOW Ronan with $10 says, "Evening, gents. Star Trek TOS did the concept of the self-deletion booths for a simulated war for casualties. It was a
Taste of Armageddon.
Yes.
Yep, back in 1967.
I have referenced that episode several times. They're not only using that self-deletion idea, but they're also waging wars that way now. Most of what we saw in the Ukraine, note that there's no real evidence of a lot of the bigger battles. There's going to be video of a big battle, period.
Yeah.
The deaths, I believe, but the bigger battles, I think, were propaganda set pieces.
Well, I've seen some of that footage, and I have to disagree. That's fine.
Okay.
See, Professor Blake Pooh-Ass Bastard 3000 comes in and says, "Hey, tell the Battle Dwarf I found his long-lost brother from the Lord of the Rings, Schmeagol."
Smeagol's brother was Deagle.
Well, you can always call him Murder Hobbit.
Murder Hobbit. Write that down. Let's see. Mando coming back says, "When I die, I want to go out in a flash of nuclear fire, not in a cloud of Pop's Del Taco farts."
Oh, God. God help us all.
Fair enough.
That's so savage.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't want none of that.
Pretty sure that. Let's see. We got 68 Barracuda coming in and says, "Hey, dickheads, just got home from my school board meeting. That ought to be fun. The fuckery that goes on is bullshit.
That's right.
We can't do the roof repair because the law says we have to put it out for a bid. Fuck that shit."
Yeah.
That is designed for those people to launder money every single time.
Yeah, isn't it quite fun to purchase a house and some property only to keep paying taxes on that because the government says, "Oh, this is yours, but you need to keep paying us. Oh, and you also need to pay us money for this permit for building a barn or a shed or a fence."
We'll talk about that offline, Jimmy. I know things about stuff.
Yeah.
I have been doing a lot of research of late. Anyway.
Interesting. Excuse me. Hooliganism coming back says, "I was making a reference to a preacher that demanded the doors be shut until $20 was given."
Oh, now you got a preacher who wants $20.
I remember seeing that video. There was a black preacher that says, "I'm closing the doors until you all give $20 to Jesus." And apparently there are some churches out there that are, well, they're, instead of a collection plate, they're handing out a freaking card reader.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If your churches do that, find a new church.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next one here. Roman Life for $5 says, "You gentlemen are from Michigan. The Dr. Death, aka Dr. Kevorkian, what happens to him? And he put Michigan in quite a dark light and had that mobile van."
No, he didn't. He's kind of a folk hero around here. Honest to God. Pop is from the same neighborhood. I lived one neighborhood up. The guy lived on Elm Street at one point. True story. Dr. Kevorkian lived on Elm Street. He also had a place above Mr. B's in Royal Oak.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. He didn't put Michigan in any kind of a dark light. That was media sensationalism. Around here, he, honest to God, was kind of like this creepy folk hero.
And we didn't care.
No, we didn't care. It was a Detroit thing. We don't care if somebody's killing somebody. It's Detroit. Come on.
People are killing each other in Detroit all the time.
That's the national myth about Dr. Kevorkian. Where he's from in Oak Park, and then Berkeley and Royal Oak are the neighborhoods that are around that. He was kind of like this old uncle folklore guy kind of thing. And we just thought it was a fascinating story.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Mando's coming back. He's got an idea. Ever consider an HOA nightmare stream?
Ooh.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah,
I
HOAs
am
are
not a
bad.
fan of HOAs. No.
I fortunately live in a rural area and do not have to contend with such creatures, but I've heard horror stories.
Oh yeah. I can't live anywhere with the HOA. They can smurf my balls.
Yeah. HOAs and HOEs. Do not like either one. Let's see here. Jump back over to the YouTube side. Doesn't look like anything, but we did break 300 likes. So,
all right.
No Hillary for you guys tonight, unless it's
Okay.
asked for, because I am the evil button pushing monkey, and well, your
True story.
your request is your demand, or whatever it is. Let's see. Over on Odyssey, it does not look like we had anything come in over there.
Yeah.
Check the D Live real quick. Looks like no lemons over there, but we got 7 viewers over there. And I imagine Twitch is rocking our normal 11, 13 followers. We got 12 over there. And over on the Twatter sphere, where are we at here? We got 98 viewers over there.
Whoa!
Oh wow, it's growing.
That's an increase. It's an increase.
I like it.
Yeah.
Share the video, share the page, and share everything. Let's see here. We jump over to the emails here, catch up with the K-shapes. Got Susan McCarley here sending in her normal $30 donation. Says,
Thank you so much.
Says, not here tonight. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Juice, have a good night. Let's see, got HKC sending in $5 for carrying on.
We're trying.
Absolutely. And we got Zanir Alter. It's a new name we haven't seen before. $5. Yep, $5 for 2 periods.
Huh?
That's all right, though. Thank you very much. Thank you. Looks like those were the only ones here tonight on the Cash App. I'll jump back around, make sure we're not going to miss anything, because I'm sure someone wants a Hillary. Those are sick and deranged bastards. Let's see. 68 Barracuda coming back says, I got evicted because I changed the cam in my Barracuda in the carport. Fucking HOAs. I guess I'm too redneck. Cockbag.
I don't understand entirely what that means, but I get it. Somebody else made a comment, and it's not a freaking
super chat,
but thank you. But he makes a good point. HOAs would make a good subject for your administrative warfare series.
Ooh. Administrative violence,
HOA edition.
That's actually a really good idea.
That is a really good idea, and that's why I saw it, and I'm like, oh no, that would be good.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, HOA administrative violence.
That is a good one.
Yeah, that would be actually really useful for a lot of people too.
Yeah. Let's see. And again, just to apologize to everybody on the MGTOW side of the chat. That is a very nice booty on the treadmill right there. Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, apparently MGTOW did Amber Heard today, so no super chats over there. So if there were any super chats, apologies, gents. We know you like it. The booty and the boobs is always in the MGTOW chat. But it does look like we are all caught up there. Let me double check Rumble, because I know you guys are sneaky little fuckers. Looks like, nope, no other super chats there. And YouTube is all caught up. So we're going to end it a little bit earlier tonight, gentlemen. So
right
for safety briefing.
Right at the time mark.
All right, everybody. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. If you absolutely must fornicate, wear a condom, take it with you, and flush it down the toilet, because women are sneaky bitches, and child support does last 18 to 21 years, depending upon the state that you are in. Rack up, pack up, and stack up. There's always safety in numbers. And maintain your situational awareness, because if you're going to be attacked, something in your environment will have changed. It's up to you to see it. Last but not least, I'm sick and tired of throwing you guys in the dirt because you're taking a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Play the long game. You have no idea what tomorrow holds for you. All right? Stay in the fight. And if all else fails, live at a motherfucking spite. Boom. Beer me. All right.
There you go. And Battledore, final words from you tonight.
On the topic that we were on tonight, the slippery slope is obviously a real thing. They're starting to encourage people to do these things. It's going to apply to the military sooner than later is my guess. Look, guys, don't fall for any of that crap. Seriously, if Pop and I can do anything for you, we will. Okay, we can't promise any results. We can't offer material support most of the time, sometimes. But if we can assist you in any way, help you talk through stuff, help you deal with administrative violence, that kind of thing, we will. We've done it before. We've done it multiple times. We've helped quite a few guys. I'm still helping a couple of guys out right now, here and there in the background. So seriously, live out of spite, if not for anything else, because there's plenty of fight to go around, man.
Hell yeah.
Damn right. Actually, the other day I was tagged on a post on Twitter from one of the guys who follows both me and you, Pop. The guy that was, let's just keep it light and short. He was having some troubles, and he's like, well, you know what? Go check out those things. So I sent him Purple Heart's Final Beat. I sent him that video, and I said, Pop cannot give you all of the answers, but he can give you some answers.
I saw that.
Keep sucking air, man.
Yeah.
Sucking air. Hell yeah.
I have a question, Jimmy.
Yes.
What's a maneki?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Evil button pushing maneki.
He spelled it wrong.
Oh shit. Bastard.
You knew I was going to catch that. You knew I was going to catch that. If anybody was going to catch it, it's going to be me.
I got you.
Maneki, but again, you guys know my spiel. Go to the merch store, check everything out over there. I mean, I guess I can share that screen for you. Do all that.
All right.
Again, stay in the fight, live out of spite. Drink some whiskey out of that glass. You just remember.
Well, hang on, Jimmy. StreamYard's been changed.
Hang on.
Hang on. There you go. Try that now.
There we go.
There it is.
Fuck StreamYard's me.
There we go.
Off. Yeah, get you some of that, and always remember, we're here for you.
Yep.
And to all the people and the NGOs out there, and maybe the Bolsheviks, pushing people to prematurely end their lives, I have a rant for you.
Fuck you and all your motherfucking friends, nigga. Give a fuck if y'all in kindergarten, I'll whoop y'all motherfucking ass. That's why Santa Claus ain't real, bitch. That's why I fucked your mama, bitch. I'll fuck up all your kids. I don't care, goddammit. Huh? Prove it to me. Prove it to me. That's why you ain't going to Disney World, bitch. Fuck you and your friends. Fuck all y'all, bitch.
Never gets old.
He seems to be excited about something.
I don't know.
There we go. As always, keep your powder dry and the cootie juices off your dishes, because that's disgusting. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
I can't do it.